of the 8th month of 1440. On the 3rd of the 9th month of 1439, I finished Regarding the Theory and Practice of Enochian Magic by Mark Stavish of the Institute for Hermetic Studies Monograph series. Mark Stavish has been a name known to those interested in Enochian for years, but this is the first time that I recall having access to a book by him. I could be wrong about that, and I could be wrong that there could be an entirely prosaic approach to Enochian magic. While he founded and directed it, Alfred D. Stefanu III is the editor of this series. The name of the institute could be a hint at the Christogram IHC or IHS, but this predates Christianity and may stand for such as Isis, Hor, and Seb, or even Set. In secret or of some other thing, we shall see if those responsible for this book are Christian, drawing influence from and recommending Lon Milo Duquette's Enochian Vision Magic, which was inspired by the 2003 work by Christos Peer, sponsored by the Institute for Hermetic Studies. Indicates they are likely of a more golden dawn to Thelema bent. The book regards types or schools of Enochian magic, recommended items, study plans, examples of rituals, attributes, and other understanding of the Enochian-related material, and the sources of the information. The Book of the Concourse of Forces calls to use the governor names, numbered as 28 through 30, are those connected to the Tablet of Union or the Black Cross, as if they were separate deities. But I'm not advocating polytheism here. Perhaps that has kept Kronzom, D's name for the devil. Kronzom, D's name for the devil. Kronzon, Merit Kasban's variation in a true and faithful relation. Koronzon, Aleister Crowley's demon of dispersion. Koronzom, a modern variation of the dweller of the abyss, has never made itself known to me in the 10th Enochian author, Zax. Paul Foster Case founded builders of the Adiutum, or BOTA, had witnessed fellow members of the Thoth Hermes Temple, of the Rosicrucian Order, of the Alpha and Omega go insane from the Golden Dawn style of Enochian magic. But did that, or the involvement of Aleister Crowley, render these things as evil? Lon Milo Duquette and others have seen Enochian studies as some of the clearest and safest, but even realizing the variance doesn't lead me to support it to that degree. Israel Regardi seemed to think of its systems as something to work up to, but I think Enochian would work fine as the sole study of spirituality. Dolores Ashcraft Nowicki thought a person had problems in his Enochian temple because of his overtly intense devotion to it. But it may have been the inner conflict of him thinking it wasn't Christian enough, Her daughter making a crack about people who did an Enochian ritual to make themselves invisible could be a coincidence. Others have started work on or with some Enochian components, only to get rid of it or quit. My position is that the type of devotions, intentions, and psychology will determine the ease, place, and potential of Enochian magic in an individual or group. Of the furniture and other tools for Enochian magic, some will forget to record their own studies and experiences. Mark Stavish is also right about the Golden Dawn style tools and rituals not being needed to prepare, and there being Enochian alternatives. For an opening invocation, I prefer my hymn of Yod. God is with all, is of abundance, is how you translate the term Yod. Said with descending tone 19 times, which is its numeric value. And it's said in a way that equals, basically 114 syllables. Jeffrey James used a 14 to 18 day working of invoking the Enochian hierarchy of the Watchtower tablets. Which some will see as a cube. My new Enochian altar should use the order which switches the placement of what most people think of as earth and fire, but like the flat painting, it should have all the variety found in John Dee's records instead of only the commonly combined varieties. I'm not going to get as well placed as I thought it was going to be. I also focused on the elemental tablet of union, and particularly felt it needed for the first Enochian key. Some may find it best to open the great tablet of earth as a whole, or follow a particular order of seniors or other names. But any part can probably be opened psychically by itself. Remember that Monday is as the Enochian Sabbath, instead of how the Bible to Islam says it ends at sunset on Saturday. It is also the day most ideal to start the extended operations on. Some will consider the tarot cards and Kabbalah in Enochian terms. I agree that Lon Milu Duquette's Tarot of Ceremonial Magic is probably the best available to help learn a variation of these connections. If I didn't see the eisegesis and exegesis compatibilities of Enochian and interfaith formats, I would likely have not made it a study and practice almost this entire century. I do not see the Enochian angels and demons in terms of which ones to worship or not treat as lesser gods. Therefore, any warning about the cacodemons will go unheeded by me. Enochian originality. Enochian originally came with a detailed context and possible attributes of which the Golden Dawn and derived systems might interfere with. The dilution of spirit as E, H, N, and B to the fire of the final M, and similar tarot cards in the Tablet of Union is sound, though. Like in Magical Egypt 2:5, While the Snakes, Aleister Crowley saw an alchemy of movement, of their psychiatry towards their true purpose. Enochian can be used for what Aleister Crowley called black magic, are the purposes besides surrender to the beloved, but ultimately it is a means towards higher purposes, like the state of consciousness known as knowledge and conversation with one's holy guardian angel. So that definition of black magic is that which interferes with one's true purpose. Now there's less, or that which is a distraction for one's true purpose, the true will. I admit that the thelemic versus the Golden Dawn way does seem to reach detail and my personality better, but that means to me what it means to me. Enochian can be considered in its expansiveness into more than flat and in flat shapes. Enochian can be considered through what its words and names mean in different languages. But remember that it may not be a valid translation. Enochian can be seen in terms of degrees of pathways. I keep sinking into this couch. But some of the orders may not be the same, are same in the terms of ease to difficulty for everyone. Remember that the Golden Dawn and other systems intended their material to be connected to initiations, and it may work differently with it than without it. The mythologies they worked with might be understood differently by different people, and there were often alternate versions. A person is most able to cut down on the expense of solitary practice of Enochian, but using color and even having the instruments may work better for some people, but don't pay for amulets. The power of such things relies on them being dedicated and used by the owners. Enochian can find its power in visual forms or in one of many possible systems of pronunciation, but I always thought the unsupported way of saying "sod" for every Z is ridiculous. And let me show you the book once more. Let me see if there's a way I can prop myself up a little bit. Mark Stavish is right about Enochian magic manifesting in a more personal way. His list of general experiences differs from what I would think most common by the indifference to human presence and their contrasts of colors. For the most part, the 48 plus 0 plus 1, angelic calls, and the great table is what is worked with, and there are neglected parts of the system I don't even see listed here. But he didn't say it was complete anyways. As much as all the writings of John Dee, aside from the margin of what some of his books and perhaps some unknown material may include, is now in print, I agree that there are books left to write on a number of the parts of what I consider to be the 5 types of Enochian magic. John Dee was one of, if not the most advanced scholar of alternative religion and Christianity of his time, and much learning may be needed to understand him, but I am not sure if I agree that the spiritual organizations that use it should keep it as something for only the later degrees. He is also right about magic not being good as escapism. Esotericism is only about a secret key to health, wealth, and progeny to either the naive or scam artists trying to sell religion. Whether you use Enochian for itself, as an addition to other magic, or a way to connect them, it is something to put something in or take something out of in your becoming. Enochian mixed with translation of it in rituals is pretty common. Once one knows the type of hierarchy mentioned, the names of the different progressions of ranks can easily take the place of names from another line. I also agree with Mark Stavish that the personality used in magic can be different per operation. People will look to the 12-letter threefold name, the 7 or 8-letter king name, the 7-letter senior names, the 6-letter invoking cavalry names, the 5-letter evoking cavalry names, the 4-letter cherubic angels, the 4-letter lesser angels, and the individual 675 watchtower squares. There's an interesting thing about this 11 blank squares, which I don't know if I've shared that in a video, but I've definitely shared that in some of my media. The governor names totaling 91 plus 1 start with 15 in water, have the 31st and 32nd in water, part of the regular and the alternative of the 65th in water, and end in water. 12 in fire come second, then 10 more after 5, and have part of the 65th in fire. The 28th through 30th are in spirit, and it can be said that all 4 elements of name 65 can also be in spirit. And remember how the one name, the L, starts in, doesn't the L start, is it in water? (42) through 64 are all air, and air shares in 65. 67 through 87 are on the earth tablet. The Aurum Solis of 1897 onwards has worked out a more simple set of attributes for Enochian and tried to experience the 91, one more for number 65, governor names in their geographical context. The first is to connect by your own blood to the Limbeck. The second is dark-haired among piles of sapphires. The third is those that move through lightning to mist with music and to charm from the amethysts of the north. The fourth is the celebration in chrysolith fields with strange and familiar knowledge. The fifth is that of strange rituals, of peculiar offerings to giants. The sixth is of pilgrimage on the spiraled gardens of a conical hill. The seventh is the shining emeralds that whisper in the dark on the basalt outcroppings. Seventh is, yeah. The eighth is of the hyssop to my rue and wormwood, of the entanglement of the boundaries and beneath. The ninth is of the women who lower their gaze, full of power and unspoken understanding. The 10th is of, okay, is there anything else I can put underneath the 10th is of young women who have not lost their energy and desire to help. the younger ones. The 11th is of this attempt to work miracles, and the full moon fast that opens the sound of the throne. The 12th is of the fierce denial of selfishness in the twilight. The 13th is the collection of the young cavalry in pursuit of the cup in the river of strange images. The 14th are in the wind and water of changing thoughts and emotions. The 15th wear blue robes and lay on alabaster branches as they minister about times not present. The 16th is along with the 34th Goetia demon are his legions and a waterfall like fountain of crystal particles they dip their hands in and share a drink of living fire to their visitors. The 17th have golden childlike faces, giving oracles among lightning and thunder. The 18th ride amber-pitched ships that take others to other globes. The 19th are slender golden ones who seek to heal the body and spirit. The 20th are beings over shadowy thrones equal to the earth, with 64 fiery pointed crowns and goals of restoration. The 21st is a black hot fire and movement too fast to visibly follow, but are learned from in their ceremonial magical ways. The 22nd are beings with diamond-encrusted armor and fierce blades to guard the sacred lands of Hakarath and help with the sympathetic connections and ritual. The 23rd are like cavalry, but wear fiery breastplates as they ride two-legged dragons with barbed tails for desire and changing substances. The 24th are of those that only are there to dedicate spheres while armed in mail coats and helmets before different banners. The 25th have horns on their helmets and cloaks that are red. They have been declining in power for a long time and want to know the name of a friend before they defend relationships for their own sake, instead of obligations therein. The 26th are beings with green scaled bodies, wings, beards, red feet, and violet, with gold cushioned crowns. As they swim in blackened waters, they try to get people to give of their hair and blood unto glowing coals if their worshippers want something. Well, can they bestow this in any but a psychic realm? The 27th keep fires on the peaks and are worshipped for political reasons. The 28th explain and favor rebellion. The 29th put forth great weights in justice. The 30th have the blue flame of Guerdon. The 31st are tall and youthful beings of Asadulcis. Asadulcus have myrrh, marble, agate, and use strange words to affect their sense of balance. The 32nd want wine and salt poured on the barren earth as they stay almost unseen aside from the faint blue flame of their heart, but they are heard in sighing and laughter as they are thought to change situations. The 33rd have limestone heads in their furnace, from which they are said to cause levitation, teleportation, and transcendental magic from. They only ask for week-long periods of eating no cooked food and only speaking what is needed. The 34th whirl their blades in pleasant gardens with leaves that cast light, and philosophy is built. The 35th are either diplomacy or a plague called on adversaries with lapis lazuli winged heads. The 36th are developed beings with sparkling lights and molten iron like clothes and countenances for red magic. The 37th are art and astral beings that are art and astral plane loving beings wrapped in crystal sheets and don bronze slippers. Astral is also a term that is referred to the causal. The 38th are wild beings that twist and hiss. Their red bodies in flames and gray smoke as they are intercessors for those working curses. The 39th are winged beings with tall crowns and changing flames of interpretation and recovering lost information. The 40th are short but strong of limbs for construction without words and reputation-related operations, going forth from the purple pool in the rock from the grapes they pressed. The 41st are jeweled priestesses, bringing vapors for the sake of attraction, wealth, and popularity after offerings of honey-sweetened wine. The 42nd have confusing forms that are supposedly to keep secret, but are said to play a role in obtaining land, building a temple, or consecration of a place without being seen. The 43rd want unity as they stay in the white smoke and column of light upon an Ankh pathway. The 44th are fair queens with crystalline faces and ruby robes in the purple air. They are invoked at dawn in low voices, in the twilight before sunrise, on high places, with the hopes of bringing terror. The 45th seek excuses as they bundle the fiery stalks of destiny. The 46th move as men or upright lizards in a 24th part of a moment, shaking on burning rocks in the sun to supposedly go and return before being noticed for extreme light work. The 47th are as whirlwinds or water spouts in a white expanse like clouds and provoke fanciful rituals and art. The 48th smile in their pearly wrappings and are supposedly a way to get in touch with beings of higher light. The 49th are white mares moving across a purple and peacock shore for blessing, devotion, and tradition. The 50th have black twisting smoke beards and hair as they rest on thrones in gray robes and speak with thunder to those who want to be leaders and give spiritual guidance. The 51st are sphinges with the faces of prepubescent boys drinking yellow wine in alabaster goblets, but don't let that distract you from their wisdom about understanding the living or the magical aspects of nature. Could I have accidentally put a G and I meant sphinxes? For the full detail and not so much an interpretation, but the actual details of these. Look at the book itself. The 52nd sing like trumpets or organs in granite pillars close to each other and are for those who want others to do their work. The 53rd are pale beings in vast white robes except for the flame in their brow. Who smell like myrrh, onyx, lavender, and other herbs. They have containers of tears and The dead are in the seasonal rites in the dark quarter of the year. So Samhain, Yule, and at the other end we have Imbolc. I mean the real times. And okay. Oh no, the G was meant. Okay. Thought I had a typo there. The dark quarter. The 54th are tall rulers wearing azure are different hues to appear in sleeping rites on high places without human dwellings, and they want the place of sunrise worshipped. The 55th are on jagged outcroppings in a silver lake and favor either the practical or the simple. The 56th are wise men followed by shadows who are not moved by extremes in devotion or effort. The 57th dwell in a realm of crystal with rainbows and strange voices to affect color and other vibrational magic. It's a lot cheaper than it used to be to get these crystals that put rainbows. They're about, you used to like have to spend like $10, $15 or even 20 or something for some little thing like that. Now you get like something about yay big. The 58th are reformer princes. The 59th are pale beings with diamond eyes that wear ashy clothes as they mutter in caves under Barka'a, in caves under Barka'a about the white work. The 60th wear red robes on black rocks and hope for victory, truth, and perhaps to dedicate a weapon. The 61st have granite and turquoise eyes as they talk with various elemental spirits and hold nice cups of various types. Through scrying, they manifest the visions from the cups of Celadon. Is this what some mean by the madness and appearance of devils? The 62nd have silver and gold bodies like the leaves of reeds. They sing, and so do their sickles. They favor the making and using of plans. The 63rd are prophetic beings of strong fortifications that work for deflecting assault weapons and bad fortune. No. Staying raised, I keep thinking. The 64th are daughters of some first who are encircled by murmurs, but they have signs of ruling in their hands, and they encourage mathematics and abstraction. The 65th are necromancers, except for celebratory and dark quarter rituals, who have ruby cup-like eyes and provoke artful spirituality. The 66th are angry princes with jasper heads. The 67th through 87th are worshipped as wrathful powers with the sigillo di Ameth. Perhaps these of earth are one per letter of the Enochian alphabet. The 88th are sisters who wear thorns and have hoarse voices. They trample spears and somehow take part in killing killers. They are worshipped for business and property recovery reasons. The 89th wear blue and green beryl, play happy flute music, favor brotherhood, and take part in worldly good. The 90th are golden birds who chime in like bells at the mystical feast, invoked by the pouring of water collected from a rapid stream. But any good work done as a result is supposed to not be credited to you. The 91st are those dressed in gloomy colors at a citadel of truth that are evoked for protection in the night and establishing the great work. Now, much of that is interpreted or summarized, and a fuller version will either be in experience, the theory and practice of Enochian magic from the Institute of Hermetic Studies Monograph series by Mark Stavish are his primary source, Mysteria Magica, Volume 3 of the Magical Series by Melita Denning and Osborne Phillips. I report on such things to let it be known, in short, the type of beliefs, practices, and experiences that are out there. I would wonder if the Goetia and other grimoires started as names and numbers of ministers, like these can be said to be. You can also say, oh, well, if you think of it as a term for God, then you can have a light being in the whole string of light beings, and the numbers I will share in a different video. But it is clear to me that such claims are about awadriaks, or jinn, if true. The tablet, Ga, actually is, a word for spirit in Enochian. The tablet of union forms a cross with 11 blank squares upon the great tablet, with the 4 tablets that are 12 wide and 13 long. Sloan manuscript 307 is the source for the examples of these 5, except the tablet of union is not with its black cross form. The tablets would then be in the following order: air, water, earth, fire. Are water, air, fire, earth. I am convinced by reading the theory and practice of Enochian magic from the Institute for Hermetic Sciences, for Hermetic Studies Monograph series. Church of Hermetic Sciences is another, right? So interest, is it in the Blu-ray or the Red Way? I think they both have mentioned Enochian, but there's some interesting that those of the 20, the Hermetic Studies Monograph series by Mark Stavish alone, that those of the 20 sources suggested that I haven't read are worth reading and considering. Mark Stavish has confirmed that, along with himself, that Alfred de Stefano III and John Kadai are scholars and mystics with some sound conclusions and experiences. And so I'm going to grab something to show you. And remember to refer to the rest of my Enochian playlist for, possibly more detail than you're going to find the rest of YouTube combined, but on this subject. But I thought it important to show you my colored transliterations here. And there's some other information here that is Enochian, but okay, let me make sure the detail's clear enough here. And I am going to show you of I've been meditating with a tiger eye jasper and a turtle jasper here. And is there any chat going on? Okay, I don't see any chat. Okay, so maybe I will go through and read the Enochian keys and Enochian at some point, but say we have the Tablet of Navalgi, we have I don't know if I've printed, I don't think I've printed this book in the past, 13 or so years in any version. So it's not currently available. I've, the Enochian tablets, Gono Ahat, the tablet of air, the Hub Yib Aatanan, the tablet of water, the Ha Oath, the tablet of earth, Oho, O Haon, the tablet of fire, Ors Tilok, the Black Cross, which is not printed terribly well here. There's just a lot of stuff. I don't know what exactly I was thinking of that I was going to share, but I'm going to stop here, and perhaps today and the next 2 days share Aleister Crowley Class A Liber.